So we're here at the Angel Islington, at the junction between City Road and Goswell Road. And we're here to answer one of the kind of curious questions about London I raised in a recent video. So in my previous video, a walk around the churches of the City of London, I repeated something I'd been told, that there are no roads in the City of London, no roads, only streets in the City of London. A few people pointed out in the comments that's not exactly true, and that's what we're going to be exploring in the video today. And you might think, well, it's a simple answer. It's not really as straightforward as that. So the New River runs beneath the street here, it's culverted beneath the street, the New River being the conduit that was built in the early 17th century to bring drinking water into London. At that point, it was the main source of fresh drinking water for London that was brought in by an aqueduct from Amwell in Hertfordshire. I've shown that in various videos. And the New River head is just over there in Islington. It runs beneath the grounds here. It's significant to a quite tragic story marked by this little park over here. Owens Fields here marks the site of the Dame Alice Owens School, which was hit by a parachute bomb in 1940 during the Blitz. There were a large number of people, about 150 people, sheltering in the basement of the school, and there was a direct hit on the school, massive explosion, caused a major collapse. It blocked access to the building, but it also caused a rupture of the New River culvert running beneath the grounds here, which flooded the basement of the school and drowned a large number of the survivors. Really, really tragic incident that would otherwise be forgotten. And I think this sculpture here is a memorial to that event. I thought there'd be a little bit of text here, but there isn't. It's so easy to walk past these little patches of open ground and not really have any idea of what unfolded on this ground here, on this land, in this little tiny little park. So we're walking down Goswell Road, but this section here where it meets the Angel was originally known as the Islington Road. So it wasn't originally called Goswell Road at this part. This is all relevant to the answer to the question that we're asking. Well, really, the title of this video is going to be the only road in the City of London. But I think there should probably be a question mark at the end of it. And that's the thing about London streets. Most London streets, or London roads, streets, roads, that's going to become something that's going to tie us up in knots as we go along, isn't it? They all have stories. I mean, I could make a video about single streets everywhere. I did a video about Caledonian Road, didn't I? Which is not far from here. It's just the other side, kind of down the hill at King's Cross, road that heads north. That's a street of a story. A BBC documentary was about that road. All these streets have incredible stories, including this one here. Also, sad stories as well, tragic stories. Actually, I'm going to go down Friends Street here. We'll come back. It's interesting, towards St John's Street. I'm being drawn down here because this area is a real mixture of architecture because, well, multiple reasons, but obviously one, as I've just pointed out, it was heavily bombed during the Second World War. But here we can see some of the older houses, which I don't know, would be sort of 19th century, I would guess. Some of them might even be Georgian. This is Paget Street, and I don't think I've ever been down here before, you know. I used to live in the area. I lived in the area in 3 different places. A bit north of here. I'd never been in Owens Fields. I've been down Paget Street. It's a lovely little street, isn't it? And these red brick buildings down the end, they seem to be flats. So I wonder what their story is. And at the end of the street, at Rawstorne Street, we have these quite striking buildings here, which are named and dated, thankfully. This building here, Brewers buildings, built in 1876. This is the company of Brewers, one of the livery companies of the City of London. And it has links to Alice Owen, or Dame Alice Owen, who I got this from Ian Visits, by the way, and I'll link to his blog below and you'll get all the detail. But the précis of the story is that she was a wealthy lady who bought a plot of land here in 1598, a plot of farmland, to build a hospital for poor widows. And she gave some of the land to the company of Brewers, of which her husband, or one of her husbands at least, was a member. And apparently, according to Ian Visits' blog, the location of the farm she bought, because apparently she narrowly escaped death on the Islington fields when an arrow pierced her hat, a stray arrow. There used to be displays of archery in the fields of Islington, so that tallies with what this area was known for a number of years. Obviously she would not have donated any land or money to the company of Fletchers, the Fletchers being the people who would have made the arrows, or indeed the company of bowmen as well, who probably made the bow. And on the corner of Rawstorne Street and Hermit Street, you've got this fantastic old, what looks like it would have been an industrial building or a warehouse. We can see the loading doors up there, the dock doors with the winch at the top. That's the thing when you just follow your nose and let yourself be guided by your feet. This was not on my itinerary at all. And like I say, I mean, lots of you will know the amount of time I've spent walking around Islington, writing about it, making videos about it. Never been down here, don't remember being down here anyway. I don't remember learning about the Brewers buildings at all. Fantastic. Here on the corner of Goswell Road and Spencer Street, you've got some of the buildings of City University. And the more sort of impressive older buildings are down there on St John's Street, but there's quite a few of the buildings of City University around this area, sort of one of the more dominant features of this area as we head south. So what we're looking for is the point at which we pass from the London Borough of Islington into the City of London, and we'll know that point because the City of London crest will be visible in the street and around the street somewhere. So here we have the famous, some might say iconic, Turnpike House. One of its claims to fame is that it was used in the Pink Floyd video for Another Brick in the Wall. I think it might even be the opening of it. I will have to have a look. There's also a St Etienne album, which I was more familiar with, called Tales from Turnpike House. It was built in 1965, and I think when it opened, it's 20 stories high. It was considered quite a fairly, I won't say unique, but it was groundbreaking, unique, something like that anyway. It was a very notable building of its time. Apparently the council have just recently restored the concrete pillars that basically hold it up. I mean, hopefully more than that is holding it up, you know what I mean. One of the more curious, fun little factoids about Goswell Road is that it's said that there was a shop down here owned by a grocer called Tom Smith, and he claims to possibly have invented the Christmas cracker. I wonder what the story there is. I wonder what he was thinking when he invented the Christmas cracker. Kennedy's over there is a great chippy. Absolutely top-notch chippy. Luckily they've just had a falafel wrap with halloumi cheese, so you know I'm not hungry, otherwise I'd be straight in there. Just behind the old Ivy pub there was one of the Civil War fortifications, the Parliamentarian Civil War fortifications built in the 1640s. Mount Mills was a significant fort. There's a video on my channel here where I walk through the Islington Civil War defences, and there's some illustrations of the actual fort itself, so we won't repeat that. Sort of most popular belief about the name Goswell Street is that it's from God's Well Street, which makes sense because there is a Goswell reference in, I'm trying to think, I'm going to say Stowe. It might not be Stowe, it might be one of the other surveyors of London. And the actual well itself is positioned somewhere between the Priory of St John and the Holborn. The Holborn, the Fleet, in other words. So actually to the west of here. And it's, some people believe that perhaps it was a pagan spring. Springs were venerated by pagan worshippers, and that it's an old spring that, because they're near the Priory of St John, I guess, they were to put God's stamp on it and say, no, none of your pagan stuff, no multiple gods, just one God. This is God's well, our God. I've elaborated there a little bit, haven't I? But you get the point. It's a good name, isn't it? Goswell Street. And we're coming up to a significant point in Goswell Road. See, I tell you there. Goswell. Oh, hang on a moment. I'm on Goswell Road. I was on Islington Road. If I was doing this 300 years ago, I'd be walking down Islington Road. But I'm not. I'm walking down Goswell Road, part of which is the only road in the City of London. Kinda. Just coming up, here's the junction of Goswell Road and Old Street. The tower of the Barbican estate looming up ahead. If we just pan down here, what do I spy on that building just ahead? So looking down Old Street here, being the end or the start of Old Street, depending on your point of view. But it's along here that in 1770, James Parrott is claimed to have run the first 4-minute mile. And they just invented the chronometer, which is what was used to measure the time of the race. And some people believe that does stand as the first 4-minute mile. Back in 1770, didn't see that scene in Chariots of Fire, did you? Part of the problem is there is an 11-foot drop from this end of Old Street to St Leonard's Church, Shoreditch. So it's technically running very slightly downhill. And for that reason, I think it is discounted. So we are still here on Goswell Road. And you can see that we are entering the City of London there. See the dragon over there? Behind me, Baltic Street, London Borough of Islington. We have the Corporation of London signage here on the Golden Lane Estate. That in itself isn't always an indicator that you're in the city. You find that signage in Epping Forest, which is obviously not in the square mile. But the dragon down there on the shield, that's telling you you are now in the City of London. So that's, to some extent, answers that question. There is one road in the City of London. I am now in the City of London. The other side of the street behind me there, that is not the City of London, but here I am in the square mile of the City of London, and I am walking down Goswell Road. So this section of Goswell Road is technically in the City of London. However, here's the catch. You'll have seen earlier on I said when we were walking at the Islington end, that was Islington Road. Then at the junction of Old Street, it became Goswell Street in the 1746 map. This is Goswell Street, not Goswell Road. At some point, I'm not sure when, the name changed from Goswell Street to Goswell Road. Before that, down here, you have Aldersgate Street. That was Pickaxe Street. But this was Goswell Street, not Goswell Road. So when it was named, it wasn't named Goswell Road. It was named Goswell Street. So yes, when they changed the name to Goswell Road, it meant that there is a bit of road that is in the City of London. There is a road in the modern City of London, but it was originally Goswell Street. So I don't know if that's a trivia question. I suppose you're being pedantic. You look at the map, you're in the City of London and there is a road, but really, only because they changed the name, and when they changed the name, they carried on. Islington Road disappeared from the map. Islington Road became Goswell Road, and they merged. Goswell Street became Goswell Road, or Islington Road became merged with Goswell Street to become, they merged the two names, is what I'm trying to say, and took Goswell Street, Islington Road, and made Goswell Road. And now I suppose there is a road in the City of London, and this is it. To answer that trivia question. The question is, do I go in here, in the Shakespeare, commemorating the fact that Shakespeare lived nearby? I don't know. I hope you enjoyed that little quirky thing here. I'm also looking across the road here. You've got Goswell Road and Aldersgate Street over the road, which is great. So that's the end of the walk. And as I always like to say, I look forward to seeing you on the next walk, wherever that may be. Maybe it'll be up there. It won't be up there. I suffer from vertigo.
It's over the meadow, over the stream, it's where I am going and where I have been. It's been a long day now, it's time for a beer, and now for home, of course I must steer. It's over the meadow.